Greetings, fair listeners, and welcome back to another episode of The Tale Collector, celebrating stories and storytelling in all their forms and the bards and artists who bring them all to life. I'm your host, Erica Adams. This first of my musical entries on this show is for all the lovers of both stories and their significant others. I believe, as I'm sure many of you do, that love is meant to be nothing less than sacred, not only a powerful emotion, but a vow that bonds two souls together and transcends both time and death. At the same time, however, I do realize how absurd and difficult, if not impossible, this idea is for others in this increasingly digitalized and cynical world of ours. Nevertheless, perhaps this entry will help make it seem a little less so, even if only for a short time. I present 2002, performing since 1992 and safe for listeners of all ages. 2002 is a neoclassical new age band composed first of husband and wife duo Pamela and Randy Kopis and recently joined by their now teenage daughter Sarah. Their name is unique in that it signifies the sacred bonds of love. According to their website, quote, "The zeros in the middle were originally an infinity sign, and the twos on either side represented them on either side of infinity," unquote. In other words, it symbolizes how two souls deeply enough in love are said to be joined together for all eternity. I was first exposed to 2002 when the New Age Music Channel on my cable TV played their song Stella Maris from the 2000 album River of Stars. I was instantly hooked. Their albums have been on the Billboard charts numerous times, alongside other famed New Age and classical artists such as Enya, Yanni, and George Winston. The trio uses a wide variety of both classical and modern electronic instruments, such as piano, acoustic guitar, flute, keyboard, cello, and harp, as well as what is called a virtual choir, comprised of voices digitally recorded and layered on top of each other. All this together gives their songs an ambient, angelic quality, sometimes slow and soft enough to relax to, other times quick and light-hearted enough to dance to. But while love is the driving force of 2002's sound, it is not exclusively the love between two people that is centered on. As many of their albums will remind listeners, the power of love can apply to virtually anything, like family, or nature, creation, or life itself. This leads me to what I think is one of the best aspects of 2002 and their presentation. Each of their albums is based on a specific story, setting, or idea. Inside the CD booklet of a given album, a song title may be often paired with a brief poetic piece. For some, each song acts as a sort of episode within a larger chronicle, such as the 1995 album Savitri, which tells the famous ancient Indian legend of the titular princess and how she rescues her husband and true love, the noble Prince Satyavan, from death itself. Here is the written narrative that accompanies the song entitled Satyavan. Savitri's search leads her to a hermitage in a forest, where she sees Satyavan for the first time. He is gently caring for his blind father, who was once a powerful king. The crude setting does not diminish the nobility and wisdom in Satyavan's face. The humble attire cannot conceal his perfect form. Another of these includes the 1992 album Wings, based on the Greek myth of Daedalus, as he and his ill-fated son Icarus escaped the tyranny of King Midas by creating wings of feathers and wax in order to fly across the sea to safety. In spite of this myth's tragic ending, its message of freedom and the finding of inner peace is apparent throughout, but especially in its final song and its accompanying words, Temple of Apollo. Daedalus builds a beautiful temple in Sicily after his escape from Crete. The temple is in honor of Apollo, who represents life, healing, music, and youth. In other albums, each song may be its own tale set within the same universe. For instance, the 1998 album, Land of Forever, transports the listener to Ternanok, the fabled fairy island where time stands still, and a traveler, upon visiting the island even for only a day, may find that centuries have passed by in the real world, as illustrated by the song and its story, Falling Through Time. Oshin, a famed warrior, went hunting one day and saw the beautiful Niamh of the golden hair, daughter of the king of Ternanok. She sang a song of enchantment to him, and, deeply in love, he left with her. Her white horse ran lightly atop the waves of the ocean and into a golden haze in which Oshin lost all knowledge of where he was and for how long. The music of some other 2002 albums, on the other hand, may not form an overall plot per se, and instead may paint a more general but no less symbolic picture. The album Across an Ocean of Dreams is dedicated to the element of water and the way it has comforted and healed our bodies and inspired man's imagination for centuries. I think this concept is summed up very nicely in the excerpt of the first song, The Ocean Dreams. There are those of us who dream of the sea, who long to feel the crisp salt air filling our lungs and to hear the symphony of the waves and the singing of the gulls. Of what does the ocean dream? A cerulean sky, snow-laced mountains, or perhaps that we return for a visit? And Chrysalis focuses on the mysterious and magical phenomenon of the caterpillar's eventual transformation into a butterfly, as shown and heard in Dream Come True. Emerging from the warm security of its cocoon, the once earthbound creature stretches its new wings. The wind breathes gently upon them, assisting in its first flight. Here is a family whose music is intended to bring people together and to soothe those whose lives may be lonely or less than peaceful. The music of 2002 is nothing short of dreamlike, perfect to both lift the spirits and to ignite the imagination while putting the mind and heart at ease. Gather round next time for another tale you may have forgotten or have never heard before. Until then, listeners, may inspiration always find you.